Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Marketing While Muslim, episode 5. Here we are, Muslim CEO, the three founders, myself, Amin, Mohammad to the side of me, and Faisal below me, where he belongs. I don't actually know what it looks like on your screen, Mohammad. So
yeah, same.
Is it like that? Yeah.
That's lower than us, basically.
Okay. So welcome to Marketing While Muslim. This is a podcast, of course, available video version and audio version, where we really, as Muslim CEO, our focus is really high performance marketing. So we come on here every couple of weeks and we really flex our marketing muscles. We put out, we challenge ourselves with some original marketing challenges and see what solutions and what we can come up with really in terms of ideas in this narrow time. Like we give ourselves about an hour and we have to come out with some solutions, some marketing strategy that we feel would be successful. Okay. So as usual, only one of us comes to the podcast, to the episode with the idea, with the topic at hand. And in this case, in this episode number 5, it's myself who's come with the idea, and Mohammed and Faisal are about to find out what it is. And then we'll just get to work with providing that kind of solution, those kind of ideas for it, inshallah. So are you guys ready?
Make it a good one, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I would do something a little bit different. Something like, if you look at the last few episodes, we've done a lot of the stuff that, we probably have the most experience in, which is, online marketing, maybe something like selling a course or something like that. But what I thought in this episode we would do is an offline business. Okay. So a local business. So imagine that there is a coffee shop. It's just opened up, and, coffee shops are actually doing quite well generally, especially before COVID kind of situation. But how would you take that as a business and get customers coming in the door, with marketing? I don't want to say online marketing because I think that will be our answer anyway, but how do you get people in the door? You're a new coffee shop. There's a lot of competition. How do you do it? So that's what the topic is for this episode, inshallah. And inshallah, it will show people that, digital marketing can work for these kind of businesses as well. And also it will show you that the principles of marketing really are the same no matter the business, right? So, so I've got a document open here. What would you say, what's coming to mind first in terms of what is the first thing to think of, right? Because sequence is quite important so you don't make mistakes later on.
Yeah, this is really good, bro. I'm glad you showed this. Inshallah, it'll benefit a lot of people that are watching and listening. What I would say, bro, is that potentially what we might want to do is just go, okay, coffee shop. Who are the type of people that come here? What are the kind of benefits for a coffee shop, right? Just get like a rough idea of the feel, because different coffee shops will have a different vibe to it, and there'll be different people using it.
Yeah, an example like it was for just positioning perspective. Is it a Greg's type of coffee shop, which is like 59p, or is it a Starbucks, or is it a more gourmet one?
Okay, so let's write this down, I guess, just so we have it in front of us. So I'll just share my screen. Got this document here. So in terms of positioning, that's the place to start, right? And obviously we have our own kind of process where we would have all of these key decisions made, but we're not going to go. We've done that in previous episodes. I think was it episode 2. I think we definitely went through some of those key things. So you can check that episode out for positioning and all the strategic decisions. In terms of positioning, what I would say, it's definitely on the not the Greg's kind of style. It's, I mean, what positioning would you say? Those. I guess those kind of hipster kind of ones, are they higher end, or are they just same
I'll
level?
I'll give you a real life example, and Faisal will probably know it, right? If you guys, any of you guys watching know about Leicester, there's a place called Brew there.
Brew, yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
So Brew is basically, it's kind of like a Starbucks Costa level, but it's like more trendy, and then they do desserts and all those kind of things as well. And I think it's a bunch of Muslims that kind of opened that up as well. So the name's very good, by the way, Brew, because it's all about tea instead of coffee and all that kind of stuff. So I think it should be that kind of thing.
What they've done as their point of difference is they've added a lot of funkiness. So it's like, okay, random flavors that you would never get in a normal coffee shop. So instead of, you have your normal caramel lattes and things like that, they have, I don't know, almond, with mint or something, or something random like that. Or,
It's kind of like the my Lahore of like
yeah, exactly. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
So it's quite funky. It's there for the younger generation. It's like a cool. Basically, it's a cool place to be.
Yeah. But then on the flip side, you have. I mean, again, this all depends on what's their USP or what is the thing that they're pushing out more, because you have a coffee shop like the one in Nottingham called 98 Degrees, which has become a really sort of big local brand because they focus on the connoisseurs, and so as a result, what they're offering things like how to make the perfect coffee classes within there, because they're like, no, it's all about a really expert level like coffee.
Yeah, I would say let's go down. I would call this like mid-market, where it's like kind of Starbucks positioning.
Starbucks alternative type thing.
Similar to what you guys are saying.
Halal alternative Starbucks, yeah.
I mean, trendy, right? So it is trendy. It is about I would say it's about the experience in the store. Okay, it's not necessarily about the best tasting coffee or nitro coffee and all these fancy things. They might have that, definitely, but it's about having a nice environment. Okay,
sure.
With, of course, with the usual stuff, right? So it has some of the non-standard coffees, right? Non-standard coffees. What I mean by that is like, it's not Greg's where all you can get is Americano and like cappuccino or whatever. Yeah. So that's the kind of positioning we have here, right? There is a focus on the environment, the in-store feel, meeting people, either doing a meeting for work or meeting friends, this kind of environment, nice place to be.
Yeah. So another thing to look at, again, as we start with in previous episodes, is just the target market, because again, you have coffee shops that are aimed at people who love cats. You have like kitty cafes and things like that, or you have, and so again, what's the different angle? Or if you want to go for like a Muslim type of coffee shop, then you could create like a Kiva Hand type of version. So. Yeah.
Okay. So. I mean, you tell me, what do you feel is that kind of Cafe Nero style? What is I mean, I know that's mainstream, right? So
it is mainstream, yeah.
But
they're probably aimed at professionals, aren't they? They're probably aimed at professionals.
Yeah, fundamentally they started in that niche. Like obviously, it's become one of those things where even like mums kind of meet up in the afternoon and all that stuff, but. It started with professionals in mind.
Yeah. And the good,
because they have the disposable income as well.
Work meetings, right? And then also they have disposable income.
It's also a place for breaks and lunch and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. But if it's done with purely professionals in mind, then what do they care about? So you might want to have like pods in there that they can hide away in, and again that's your point of difference. But this is why getting the avatar, like the avatar makes you need to get that really clear.
Yeah. I mean, it could be the whole working remotely thing even.
Working is definitely a big one there as well.
Yeah.
Right? But I think you could put working down for them, because like you see a lot of people will be in coffee shops working like that, and they're the annoying guys who get on the phone and start talking about that's the deal and all those
and all they do is order like a water in the morning and stay there all day.
He's all speaking for himself.
I have done that, not all day, but what's worse than that is going there not ordering anything. That's the worst. And we're not allowed to talk about our sins, so I won't talk about my own experience. Okay, cool.
So I think the last thing to do.
One more avatar.
Go ahead.
I mean, one more avatar might be good, like just to get something like the opposite of that or very different to that. So that when we get to the idea stage, we'll have more to kind of play with that.
Yeah, as an alternative could be all coffee shops are aimed at professionals and stuff. So why don't you go down families? Okay, a place where families can go and kids can have milkshakes and the parents can have tea and this and that. That could be one. Or you
so is this as well as professionals, or is an alternative?
Yeah, I would definitely do it. No, it should
alternative.
No, it should always be because again, like location. Because what we're going to do is, I mean, as I understood it, is that you want to get more in terms of ideas and promotions, right? We don't want to spend
to bring people in.
Yeah, we don't want to spend too much time here. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that all these kind of factors, like where are they based? So for example, with Brew, for example, if it was based in city center, you know, you're not really going to work with families. If it's based in a remote location, you might work. So what I'm saying is that maybe you should put families / mums, because the truth is, for me and you, we spent a lot of time in UK coffee shops, right? Yeah. And when you go there, there's a lot of like women and people who don't look like workers, in suits and boots and stuff, who are there spending time. So it's actually
with prams and stuff, which is a bit of a giveaway.
With prams and so it's actually like a casual meeting place as well. It's kind of become a bit like a community center, right? So that kind of vibe, that's another type of people where I've seen people who are just like, you can just see mother and daughter just even meeting up there, or you can see like a group of a family moving. So it's like that kind of community hub type place.
Third space.
Third space, exactly.
Third space, Nice.
So they tend to go there for meeting friends, place to relax, maybe read a book, this kind of thing.
Yeah. Good.
As with the UK context, taking refuge from the rain.
And also they also use it as a break. Like, let's say I'm out shopping, right? And then I've got an hour before I pick up the kids. I'd go sit in a coffee shop, basically, right?
Yes.
So it's that kind of place as well.
Yeah.
So
reading and stuff. Okay, good. But I think so when it comes to the offerings, let's talk a little bit about unique offerings, because that will determine what we can do in terms of marketing.
Sure.
So if we're gonna focus a lot on the professionals, what would we have? So it could have like a lunch offers, right?
Yeah. You can have like lunch and learns. So you can have things like their events that they host where you could have lunch, and so that business networking type thing.
Okay, good.
Another thing you could do, bro, is that when, let's say you're in an area like Uxbridge, where I used to work for Xerox, they had a lot of companies that were based locally. Okay, so you could have a discount for the companies that are based within 2-mile radius. So if you're an employee of, let's say like Xerox, just show your Xerox badge and you'll get 10% off, right? Because then that's like long-term loyalty, and that's where you want people to buy your coffees and everything.
Yeah. What about
you've got the standard
coffee to nearby offices? That
would be very good. Yeah.
An obvious one is obviously loyalty cards and stuff. Most coffee shops have that.
Yeah.
You could do the whole thing of giving something free that so mothers, right? You could say anyone with a pram gets a free cookie, right? Those kind of unique things where you actually
I'm going to find a pram without no kid in it. Just
walking with 3 prams.
3 cookies.
3 cookies, please. when you buy a coffee, whatever, basically really making them feel like, oh, I'm a mum and I'm special because I'm a mum.
You're welcome.
Special,
welcome,
feeling welcome and stuff. So I think that's good. You could have a quiet space, bro, for meetings. No, not for meetings. A quiet space for working, right?
Yeah.
So I whenever I go into coffee shop, I'm looking at the area. I'm like, which place is the quietest? Because coffee shops can be quite noisy because the machines, they're just going off, right?
Yeah.
So if you can have a quiet space for working, that could be quite good as well.
Yeah. Maybe just one pod for calls or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we'll come up with more.
Another unique offering, by the way, could be the menu. So a lot of them sometimes focus on, vegan only, or they go non-dairy or this and that. So maybe you can go down or it's a very special chef that's prepared or all that kind of stuff. So.
What about high protein lunch?
Yeah, that's it. That's good. Or maybe they do maybe it's a place that they do bulletproof coffee.
Yeah.
Or keto friendly.
That's quite niche, I think. Yeah, I was thinking it could be promoted as the thing that will avoid that post-lunch slump.
Nice. Yeah, high performance type stuff. Yeah. Very good.
So what's that coffee shop called that's opened up near Nottingham Uni?
Yeah, A1.
They've got a very healthy yoga type feel going.
Yeah, it's actually a yoga studio behind it, and even inside it's all very green. There's a lot of greenery inside, and it's like a very natural nature type of feel that they've gone for.
I mean, the other thing we could do, especially because of the mums and stuff, we could do the whole coffee mornings. So every single day at 11 a.m., for example, you Monday to Friday, for example, you have different things happening, or Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So like you actually have like mini events taking place in there as a coffee morning, because everyone that comes in for that buys a coffee, right? So like having
coffee morning events for mother's avatar. Yeah. Well, I think you at some point you have to choose, do we prioritize the professionals or the mothers, right? Because if the coffee morning is at 11 and then the lunch event is at 12 or 1, it might clash. So you have to kind
I think what it is, I mean, is that, you know, when you've got a business like that, like we were kind of saying on one of the coaching calls to one of our clients, that this is all about testing and trialing new things and getting into that action mode, right? Yeah. And so what you could do is you'd be like, okay, not Monday. You could say maybe Thursday morning or Friday morning, which is a chilled out morning, is basically going to be coffee mornings, right? So you just do one coffee morning a week. And then with the event, you're like, okay, the lunch event's going to be on Tuesday afternoons. There's only one lunch event. And just like testing and trying. And then whatever you see working, obviously that's what you scale up.
Yes. This is also a strategy that's used for local businesses, because what you have is, let's say you have a restaurant or you have a coffee shop, they call this layering the business, because it's like, okay, one layer, at its core layer, is the coffees. But then, okay, how else can you extract income from it? Okay, right, we're going to do a delivery service. Okay, that's the second layer. Okay, we're going to be hosting events. It's a venue as well. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to be doing cookery classes. So you can see this is multiple layers, all can take an income stream.
Yeah. Because basically, you've got that sunken cost in the shape of rent. So you're paying that rent no matter what. And so your job is not to reduce that cost. That cost is there. You can't do anything about it. How can I actually how can I maximize the use of that, space, quote unquote, asset that I'm paying for?
100%, absolutely.
Yeah. And so it's like, even gyms know this very well, that I have to have the gym as full as possible in as many hours as possible, because I'm paying for it anyway. So let's
I mean, that one more idea then, this is kind of like something we used to suggest, especially in the marketing agency days, is that basically create alliances with non-competing businesses. That's good. So locally, there'll be loads of businesses which are not competing. So for example, like you mentioned, a gym, right? A gym doesn't compete with a coffee shop. So they could actually work together and be like, look, I'm going to promote you, you're going to promote me, right? And also, I'm going to give discount to every gym member. I'm going to give them a discount of 10%, right? And if you guys could do, like, just put my posters up or do something like that, like anyone who shows your gym membership, that they're going to get a post discount.
Especially because the avatars are very similar.
Yeah, exactly, right? And so what are other businesses that are typically on the high street, like even a dry cleaners, bro, right? There's a dry cleaners. The dry cleaner does not compete with them. But if you said, right, anyone that comes in showing a receipt of the dry cleaners, they will basically get 10% off, right? And then you go to a dry cleaner and say, can I put posters up of special offers, right? So in the dry cleaners, then you put posters up of special offers that you get in addition to the 10%, right? Like right now, if you come between this time and this time, you'll get like a cheaper thing, right? And by the way, I mean, that's a separate unique offer that between certain times, like restaurants, they will say, if you come at this time, like happy hour time, like you will get this at a much more discounted price, or we will do one course free if you buy this one course, restaurants do. So time-based discounts.
Yeah. One last thing is just having a recurring revenue type of aspect to it. So you have coffee clubs, or you have Hotel Chocolate have a chocolate connoisseurs club where they send a new thing every single month. You could do the same with coffee, or a membership might entitle you to obviously discount, especially if you're buying a lot, or you have first priority on the pods or something like that. So something like a membership, £5, £10 a month.
And then I think that would be good for the professionals to try and get them that, okay, if you are working remotely 2 days a week, 3 days, then this is the place you're always going to come, because you've paid that monthly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they could also like sell stuff as well, by the way, like raw coffee, right? Like that stuff you can use at home and all of that. You could actually sell additional products, not just things that you do there. And a lot of the restaurants have started doing that as well, where they bottle their own sauces now. Like Nando's will have their own sauce that you can take home, right? So home-based products that you basically sell, right? Because that's an extra revenue stream. And then in addition to that, I think what I would say is that they have to have some sort of way of basically getting that avatar digitally, right? Like we haven't talked about that at all.
Yeah.
So either it's going to be something like put your business card in, and every month we announce like a big, like what you could do, this is what I would probably do, is I would get this massive, you know how you get those hampers, right? I would get a massive hamper, which is filled with all kinds of coffees, but then also like something valuable as well, not like an iPad, but something like valuable, and just keep it in my coffee shop. And I'll be like, this is what we give away every single month if you just put your business card below the hamper, right? So everyone that's walking past is like, what is this hamper, right? And it's like, to win it once a month, just put your business card in there, right?
Is that GDPR friendly?
I hope so, right? So you just put your business card in there, right? And then you accumulate all these business cards. Or another big one for these guys is actually Wi-Fi, right? Because when you come, like in a coffee shop, you want to use Wi-Fi. You don't want to use your network because sometimes it's not good and all those kind of things. Yeah. So these kind of digital offers that will enable you to get their details, you know, I think this is the kind of stuff that we want to be adding to there, so that they feel like, oh yeah,
that's a must. Yeah, that's a must. Again, you can have other things like wireless charging mats on the thingy that they can charge wirelessly and all that stuff. So, one more thing I had in mind was free coffee for a year.
I like that. God. So how would that work first? Like, won't my business go bankrupt? Like, what is it?
So again, with free coffee for a year, it's like a very headline offer. It sounds amazing. Like, you can run it as a competition online to get people into the store. So, but again, how it would work is all you really legally would need to give is one every month, or you're entitled to a free coffee every month. There's actually 12 coffees you're giving away.
Don't be cheap.
Or you can limit it to the value of £10 per month or whatever. So that's 3 coffees per month.
I was gonna say, don't be cheap. Like, give it every week.
Oh, every week even.
It's coffee. How much does coffee cost to make?
Oh, yeah,
like
true.
30p, right? So you can give one away, right?
Yeah, so 50 times, £3 or whatever. It's actually only the total value of the price is maybe £150. But what
you could get a few thousand leads from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So did I write that?
This is not a strategy, but this is quite a cool thing for the coffee shop itself. Is again what a lot of coffee shops like is that local feel, because if you're competing with a Starbucks and a Costa, it's like they're like they're like franchises, they're like commercial and stuff. They want that local kind of feel. So you can partner up with either a university or with a gallery or something like that, and you're putting local artists paintings up. And what do you call it? You can get commission for if they actually get sold and this and that. So it's just a nice little extra touch.
Yeah, that's good. I think even by the way, I mean, you know that thing that you've written there above, alliances with non-computing businesses, I would add universities in there, because like university students, although they don't have much money, but they will go to Costas and they will spend it.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
And so like getting them on board is actually very good as well.
Yeah, if you happen to be near a university, then that would have to be one of the key avatars, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so let's move on to the actual details and tactics of how we would implement, like, promoting the coffee shop or the cafe and these unique offerings. So I don't know, should we maybe highlight some of these, or pick 1 or 2 or 3 and then say how we would actually implement that? So
I mean, we could, rather than going that way, I mean, what we could do, like, a lot of these are quite self-explanatory.
Yeah,
right?
Some of them are.
So someone who's kind of in them, they can just be like, okay, yeah, I get that, right?
Yes.
What we might want to do now is, now that we've got, because if you think about it, almost all of these ideas are offline ideas, right? To do with in-store and everything. What we might want to think about now is, how do we, like, let's maybe brainstorm all the ways that we can get to the avatar without digital, and then we can go into like specific digital strategies.
Okay, that's good, yeah.
But just a quick brainstorm of non-digital, non-digital, not on offline, basically.
I mean, for a lot of these, like discount for local companies and what was the alliances, then that would literally just be door to door.
Speaking, basically, speaking door to door or speaking to local people.
Yeah. One thing that you could do is you can partner with, not partner with, but you can pay the Royal Mail a certain amount, and they can post leaflets to every door within a postcode.
Yeah, so
if
basically
there's-
direct mail. You could do that.
Yeah.
It'd be cheaper if you do it yourself, but you could do direct mail, or you could do flyering. Same thing.
Yeah.
And that flyering would be something leading to a big discount.
Yeah, of course, you have a voucher on there, and that brings. If you bring this into store, you have X, Y, Z. Yeah.
Yeah. It could even be part of the free coffee for a year campaign.
Yeah, that's good.
To get them online.
Yeah.
It could also be events, bro. Like in the direct mail, like especially if you're local, like you could just put, events for the next 3 months, basically. Coffee mornings happening for that.
Yeah. But what I would do is that, especially if it's not open yet, you'd have a big launch event where celebrities are going to be there, cutting the ribbon, all that kind of stuff. The
How much do
mayor
you
of
charge,
the city.
Faisal?
Huh?
How much do you charge to turn up to one?
No, I don't do local.
Oh, you do it for the sake of
international only.
Yeah. So obviously, yeah. I mean, that's a good point. That if it's brand new and they haven't done it, they have to do a launch event, right? Launch event is like really, really important. And alongside the launch event, you want to have a launch offer as well, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of the food places, they open up like that, right? For example, if they're going to sell, I don't know, like burgers for £5 normally, they'll be like, every burger is half price. So everyone just like rushes in there.
And that's what you want. You're on the first day, you want queues and queues and queues.
Yeah.
And you actually want people to turn away. I didn't get on.
Yeah, I'll come back.
It's that perception.
It reminds me of when I was a kid. Like we all went to watch Jurassic Park, and we would go to in those days, it was not online booking, right? I know you're thinking you probably in those days you didn't have cinemas, but we did, right? And we went to watch Jurassic Park, and bro, every single day of the summer that we went, it was sold out, like every day, and I never got to watch it.
Wow.
So, like, it was just sold out too much.
They all got extinct in the end, bro.
Thanks for ruining it. No, I have seen it since then, but yeah. So it's the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. So that would just be on one day, right, where you do the big launch and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, you could do.
But you do a countdown. You do a countdown, probably online and this and that, like just to draw up hype for the event.
You guys have got me excited now because.
It's not real, bro. It's fiction.
No, you know what's real for me is that Jaiwala just opened up down the road. So it's like a real tea place that like they're not. But for them, for example, right, bro, like I mean, this comes on to like other strategies. Since their sign went up and they've been building, I've been going online to see things, and like their Google listing, like they don't even have a phone number there. So I think like you should write further down digital strategies that. The Google listing and all this kind of stuff, like, is very important. And then, like Faisal was saying, like having that countdown where like communicating with your community locally that look, we're opening up, and for our opening offer, we're going to do this and that.
38 days to go, or 12 days to go.
So we haven't known when they're opening, and then on top of that, Corona kind of came in, so it's like no one's allowed to open. So like from that perspective, I'm like, let's go there. Faisal, I'll take you there when you come in, Shona. Are there any other things we can do offline, guys, apart from flyering?
Yes, we can. We can do, that kind of street team stuff where you get people, either they get those little templates and they spray around.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. That's quite niche.
Stickering.
Put that down. That's good.
Yeah. What is that called?
Yeah, street stencils, whatever. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, but you're more cultured.
I've seen that. Yeah. Obviously, when you're in the restaurant trade or whatever, you know what these are.
Yeah. Another one you could do actually is standing outside with taste tests, right?
Yeah, that's good.
So basically, just stand outside.
People wearing t-shirts. And
you got red velvet cakes, right? And you just like, chop them into like tiny pieces that you can't even taste.
on a toothpick.
Yeah, on a toothpick, and then just get people to just try them out and stuff, right? You could do the same with like free shots of coffee and stuff. So
it's a bit costly. Okay, let me separate this into
coffee
offline.
is cheap, man. It's so cheap.
Offline.
No, you're thinking of the instant coffee, but this is obviously hoping it's coffee meat from Colombia.
Arabica beans.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the obvious ones like billboards and things like that. Again, would you do it? I'm not sure, but I mean that is a way of, especially if it's like
roundabouts,
if it's in prime place near the place, and
I mean you can
opening soon around the corner, 24 yards or whatever.
Yeah, I think obviously one of the big advantages of online stuff is that you can often spend a little and test. So a billboard is like requires that big upfront investment without knowing if it's going to work. So what I might do is I might do certain ads, and then based on what is working with the ads, I would use that to make my billboard.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good way of doing it.
So let's get onto the online stuff. Yeah.
Okay, go on.
So for me, straight up easy one would be target local vicinity on Google search.
I wanted to say local. I wanted to say location-based targeting, bro. You like took that away from me,
man. So you target the local vicinity with Google search. So so you based on, for example, if somebody searches, so let's just do some example keywords. So if somebody searches in Google local coffee shop, right, or cafe near me, for example, you only in that area, like within whatever few miles radius, why am I saying miles, few kilometers radius, your ad would show up at the top of the Google results, right? So you want that. If you can also do Google Maps, I don't know if that's like a placement you can do these days, but I know there is some level of advertising they allow on Google Maps, so that would be good. And that's maybe not, that wouldn't be promotion based. It would just be leading to your main website or to a phone call, right? And definitely on the website, you would definitely need to make it very clear your location and any generic promotions you have going on, right? Yeah. But then on the Facebook side of things, I would say run Facebook, and this would include Instagram as well. Facebook and Instagram ads. So let me just write ads. And what I would do is I would do lead. Like, lead gen form within Facebook, and it would be for the free coffee for a year. And again, I would only target that local area. Okay. Yeah. And it also could be for the hamper giveaway, anything of that sort. So you're getting people's, you could say, I don't even want your email, I just want your phone number, for example. And if you have a strategy in place to use that, or you could say both. So you've got that. And then,
I mean, for launch day, you can have even a Snapchat filter, just to get them in the door and just have fun and stuff, just for experience.
Yeah, for launch. And the way that works is you use their geofencing, isn't it? Where that's right, if they're in that location, then they have access to a special Snapchat filter that others wouldn't get if they're in another location.
Yeah. Exactly.
I've actually done that. Do you remember that, Faisal?
I can't remember. When did you do it?
I remember. We did it on Eid in the East London mosque area. Quite sick.
Yeah. I did it for my wedding.
Okay, yeah, good one. Okay, there's that. Okay, how else do we get people in?
So one obvious one is obviously influencers and affiliates and stuff. So you want to get the key people, like maybe who are local celebrities or something, just really talking about it and hyping it up and stuff.
And
YouTube, maybe using Instagram especially.
The thing is, Fess, as well, what's really interesting is that there's people who are local celebrities who you could get for free. So, for example, like when my dad was the mayor, his whole duties, basically, he's relieved of all his counselling duties, and all he does is just events everywhere, right? And it's quite weird because the people see the mayor as a kind of a celebrity and he's local, but he's completely free, right? So you can just like book him and be like, come to my coffee shop and stuff. So like in your local community, there are people like that who might have a title who would come to your thing for free, right? And then that means that you can actually get local mayors in, you can get local. So it doesn't need to be someone who's an Instagram guy with 100,000 followers and stuff. It could just be people who locally.
Mohammad, your mic went, I think.
Yeah. One thing that works quite well actually is, again, this might be the unique offering as a person, is the black card. So you know how you have the Nando's black, that's like an exclusive thing that everyone talks about. I want to be it's only reserved for the top 1% of your customers and that. So you can actually have a talk about You can tempt the big timers in with the black card. It had you to, like on Nando's, the black card gets you free chicken for life type thing, or for a year or whatever, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I know about that. But
Mohammed, we can't hear you.
realistically, yeah.
Mohammed, your mic's gone.
Maybe we go to audio settings or something. But Faisal, you know, like realistically, who is going to be a local influencer? So we wrote mayor, but any other ideas just to make it a bit more practical and implementable?
So if you can look on Twitter, or you can look on Instagram. A lot of people might be like vloggers and bloggers who talk about the region, right? It could be like a football player for the local team. It could be newscasters, so people who do the local shows and stuff. So radio hosts and stuff. That might be a lot as well.
Okay.
But the truth of it is,
you guys think that should be on the other side? The whole, because that kind of comes on the loyalty schemes, right? This whole
loyalty, I suppose, yeah.
So maybe we should put it as that, and even celebrities, actually, that could fall onto that side as well. But online, because we're kind of falling back into that unique offerings area, right? But online, like what else could we do online to kind of, because if you were talking about local influencers promoting it online, then that's
how it started. Yeah,
that's something you can.
Yeah, you know what a big thing is for anybody really in retail, and this includes online retail, and that is retention of customers, right? Because if I sell you a cup of coffee today, for £2.50, my profit on that, really including rent and everything, is like 50p, right? But I'm gonna really make money when I get like 1,000 true fans and when they're coming back again and again. So how do we put retention in place? So when we do this big launch and when we do the initial marketing push and we get people coming in the first time, how do we get them coming in the second, third, fourth time? That is a big thing. That's where I think SMS marketing would come in. And the way I would use that is reminders of big promotions, right? You don't want, what you don't want is people only come when there's a promotion, right? So you don't want to be, because you're going to have regular promotions, but those promotions should be focused on people who have not come the first time, okay? And I remember actually a strategy I heard of, the first time they come in, you give them very special treatment, okay? And you know that it's the first time because you put like a certain color napkin on their table.
Do that,
yes. You treat them really well. And then when they finish, you give them a big discount for something like free dessert next time you come, right? And so that gets them to come the second time. The third time you give them another kind of discount. The third time they've come, and if they've enjoyed it, you've kind of won them over. At that point, you've won them over or you haven't, right? And it will be decided in those first 3 visits. So that's very important. So what I'm saying with the SMS marketing is we might remind them of promotions like once a month, but no more than that, because you don't want them only coming for that, because that's going to eat away at your profit margin.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to... It's hard to kind of, it's hard to implement like with safety features. The truth is most people are quite honest anyway. But if you said something like, if you had a big thing behind the coffee bar that said, first time here, let us know, get a free cookie or something like that, right? Like that's a massive sign and people are like, oh yeah, this is the first time I come to your place. Okay, here's a free cookie, right? Again, something that doesn't cost you very much, but you've identified that person and that person goes, wow, like these guys treated me special. So like having something like that could be good, but I don't know how. Like,
I'm going there with masks and stuff.
I'm new to this coffee shop. That kind of vibe.
So. But yeah, definitely. With this coffee shop in general, I would really focus on getting those 1,000 true fans. You know what you do then? I mean,
I'll tell you somewhere I use my loyalty a lot, right? Is where they've made it easy for me. So I'll give you an example. Something like Nando's or something like that. I've found that to be very difficult because, where's my Nando's card with the stamp thing? Oh, I left it at home, or it's in my other wallet. So the one that actually works for me very well is my sub card. Yeah, sub card, right? Why? Because they made an app which is called Subcard, and every time you do it, they go like, have you got a Subcard? Yeah, I have. Okay, deet. And then within a second, you can basically see how many points you got, how many free subs you got. Don't know. I think I might have a free sub. Thanks, bro. But that
actually works well on Costa as well. Yeah, Costa do that as well.
Oh, do they have an app now? Yeah.
Yeah. It works well
Yeah.
on coffee.
So rather than having a card, what I'm saying is that it's all about having the app so that I know my phone is always with me. So if I'm ever in a coffee shop, I will always have my, card with me if it's an app.
Yeah. So you have a QR code in store where they just put their camera over it, download the app, they've got it.
Yeah. So for what I would do is that I would put in, especially if you're targeting professionals listen to podcasts on the way to work, etc. So you'd have a coffee and chat podcast type thing. So and then you're interviewing celebrities or whoever, or interesting people or business people or whatever. And then one of the questions is, what's your favorite coffee? But it's a top of mind thing. And
you know that top of mind thing actually is a very good idea. And what you would do is you would actually film it in the coffee shop, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's just going on. And this is very good because what happens, it has 2-3 effects. One is the effect that obviously you're producing content, and that one piece of content, like, I mean, you made that video how you can just basically chop it up and do so many things with it if it's like a 30-40 minute thing, right? Secondly, it makes the place familiar. And when something's familiar to people, they like know it, they like it, they trust it, right? Because it's so familiar. And then from a third perspective, it's like if you see something on videos and all this stuff, you're like, oh, I can go to that place. Like, you know how people visit the whole, near my house, we've got the Beatles place where they made that cover where they're all standing on the crossing, right?
Abbey Road,
exactly. So Abbey Road, like people go there to take pictures. So it just gives you that feel that, oh, that's the coffee shop. And so what you could do is you could just interview local people. Like you could go invite the mayor around and go, we're going to do the mayor of this thing, right? Like just see what his story, and make it all about storytelling. And then you do other local people. Okay, this guy owns this business. Everyone knows this business in the area.
A bit like Humans in New York.
Yeah. Exactly. Humans of.
But you know what I would do differently? Because when you said do a podcast, I'm thinking, yo, that's not realistic. You know, I'm busy coffee shop owner. I can't do that. What I would do is I would find out if anyone locally is doing a podcast, and I would say, you can use my shop for free after we close to film it.
That's a great idea. That's very good. Yeah, as long as you mention it's here. So that's a good idea as well. But actually, you know, even offering things like that, I mean, like just the idea of using the space when it's not in use for the community, like that's like a big thing, good, you know, because a lot of these places, like you could say to someone,
the pillars of the community, aren't they? Coffee shops,
exactly. So you could be like, look, as long as you're willing to pay my staff cost of like, I don't know, £10, like you can use my venue, which is like a huge venue, and it would cost you hundreds of pounds to rent out per hour, you know. So that's additional revenue.
So just another thing with content in mind. Obviously, you would do the content of like meet the team and just get people familiar with the personalities and stuff like behind the scenes. So video the time taken or the care taken to like create the perfect coffee and all of that type of stuff. Again, it just shows that there's people who really take customer service seriously and who really like that pouring coffee is an art form and all that kind of stuff. So that stuff works well.
One thing I wanted to ask you guys is that, like, if you had to focus on a primary method of communication, what would it be? Because normally we would go like, do it on your own platform. Email's very good, right? But with stuff like this, you could do SMS, but it might be too intrusive. The app might be good as well because like you can have badges and notifications and all that kind of stuff. So like if you were gonna do this, like which one would you guys prioritize and why?
I'm between SMS and WhatsApp. So now you can do WhatsApp business. So you can make a WhatsApp business account for the cafe, and if people message you, now you've got that as a chat, just as with any WhatsApp conversation. So you could use WhatsApp, but ultimately you're going to collect emails and phone numbers, right? But then it's like, how do you use those? Yeah, I'm between those two myself.
What about you, Faisal?
It's interesting because what came to mind for me is what others in the hospitality trade do, which is Twitter. Twitter is, obviously it's dying and declining and all that kind of stuff. That for me, it's all in public, especially if you're good. You could do like you have a particular style. Now you have Wendy's who are quite funny and quirky on there, or innocent and stuff. And then it's customer service you can do via that, and it's just all out in public. But and then it's visible, isn't it? And in the community, often people follow like local things. So Twitter is always quite good for hospitality stuff.
I think I wanted to ask you, I mean, like, is there a reason you wouldn't go with app? Because for me, like, if I'm thinking about my Subway app, that I do use it a lot, and then if I had notifications on, like most people, then you can, like, send them short, sharp messages. So why would you go with something else over that?
I think if I think of the number of people who are going to get the app versus the number of people who are going to give me their phone number, I would assume the number of people giving me phone number will be higher.
I don't know. It depends. And this is actually another point. Like, what do you focus on, right? Because if you focus on SMS numbers, for example, and do every campaign on that, then you'll probably get more of that. But if you make it like, okay, look, guys, like you can get 10% off your bill right now by just doing one click there, and at the bill, you're going to get 10% off right now. That will increase it. But I think WhatsApp actually has this thing, though. WhatsApp, I was going to say, that WhatsApp has this urgency to it where you see it more like a less of a promotional message, because with an app, you see it as a promotional message, right? But with a WhatsApp message, you're like, oh, who's messaging me, right? And if you do broadcasts, so it comes individually to the person, like then it's like, oh, someone's messaging me, or what these guys are saying and stuff. You know, like that could work well.
Yeah, in terms of communicating, you can use multiple ways, obviously, right? But, you know, now that just the more I think about it, the more I really, really feel that it's not about getting loads of different types of people coming in. It's just about getting the same people coming in regularly. And I think restaurants, cafes, they live and die by that, really. Because
the regulars, isn't it? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like coffee is not something I can't buy every single week or more, right? But as for clothes, that might be different when it comes to retail. So I'm just thinking that I think everything we've mentioned here, it includes that thinking, right? But I would actually narrow down.
Quite wide, it's quite wide at the moment. We could narrow it
fully on those, because if you have, I don't know the numbers for how coffee shops work, right? But if you did have 1,000 true fans who are coming, let's say twice a month, they're spending £5 each time. That's £10 per person for 1,000 true fans. That's 10,000 in kind of guaranteed income. And then you're going to have another 25% who are non-regulars, or another 50% that are non-regulars. Now it's really working, I think.
I'll tell you one thing, bro. Someone who goes to coffee shops regularly, they go a lot more like that. So, for example, my brother, he goes to coffee shops probably like 2, 3, 4 times a week.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like a regular go, because he's that kind of guy who's like sitting there working from there and stuff. So if he's going there 3, 4 times, that means someone like that could be going 10 times in a month, bro. Right?
Yes.
And so if you're bringing in £5, that's like, you know, that's £50 per person. If you got 1,000 true fans, that's 50,000 pounds, right?
Yeah.
So like,
I remember reading something once that I think it was Starbucks. It costs them is it £25 or something to acquire a customer. The lifetime,
bro. Oh, sorry. Yeah. The lifetime is the mad one. Yeah.
Yeah, the lifetime was the mad one. Is that in five figures?
Yes, more than $10,000.
Tens of thousands.
Yeah.
I mean, one last thing I just wanted to say on this, and this might go on to the left side rather than the right? But I really feel that you have one opportunity offline that you do not get online. Right, and I told the story of this recently on one of our coaching calls that we do for the program that we offer, where there's a guy who has a restaurant, and outside the restaurant he has his red Ferrari 458 parked there, right? And he made it from the restaurant, mashallah. Like, if you live local to me, you probably know what restaurant I'm talking about as well, right? And I believe one of the biggest reasons for his success with an offline business is actually his personality and his relationship building, right? So when you walk into there, he's like, wow, brother, assalamu alaikum, how are you doing? How's everything? It's like you're talking to an old friend. And then sometimes I've sat there and I've watched him, and he does that with everyone. Like, he's so warm and like welcoming and this and that. And so when you get that relationship going, then you're like, why would I ever go to another restaurant of this type of food when this guy's here like this, right? And so even in Ramadan, like, you know, we used to go there for suhoor sometimes last 10 nights. He's like giving us free watermelon and all that kind of stuff. And just like being there present, brother, is everything. Okay, you know, he's the owner, but he's just like so much rapport with you that it's like you just keep feeling like, I want to come back just to help this guy, you know?
Yeah.
And I think
you can try one.
And I think so. This whole personality, this whole customer service, this relationship, that has to be one of your unique offerings. You know, people have to feel like, I'm going to this place and I feel like it's, you know, like they say about that, the old series Cheers, yeah, where everybody knows your name. It's that type of thing, right? Where you go there and they just like, they know you and they know your name, and they're the same kind of waiters and waitresses that serve you, and you know, all of that stuff.
Absolutely. And I was going to say, just going on, expanding on that point, that can actually translate into an online offering where you become almost like a thought leader. You're sharing thoughts from the community or this and that, and the people that actually start following you, they see you as a bit of a celebrity.
Yeah,
especially when you got a Ferrari.
It's like the Salt Bay. You know the Salt Bay.
Yeah.
Obviously he's just a restaurant owner, but he became famous.
He's got like a lot of branches, so I think he needs to start cloning himself so he can be everywhere for the photo op.
Lookalikes. But that's actually another one great idea, by the way, right? Is that by the way, like this, I went to this place called this burger place on the weekend. They had the Lamborghini parked outside, and they had their whole branding on the Lamborghini and stuff, right? What I was going to say about Salt Bay is that what's interesting about him is that he's doing something which is weird, but in the kind of environment we live in now, where it's all snappable and stuff, your unique offering should have something that's snappable. Right? Yeah. Something that people will go on Instagram for, something that people will come to your store for, just so they can do a snap. Because that's how like some of these younger guys, that's how they think that, like when I say to some of the younger guys, where should we eat, guys? They're like, oh, let's go here. Why? Just because they can go there and they can snap it, right? So you should be doing something that's weird and wonderful as your brainchild, that basically you do that and you get known that this is your thing. That's why he can charge £200 for a steak, or maybe that's cheap.
Yeah, that's why you get like burgers that are black with stamps on it and all that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Do something unique and different.
Yeah. So with that in mind, another thing for content is user-generated content. So own a hashtag, and again, you want people to keep submitting, you know, their photos of the experience and this and that. So again, it could be they're submitting it on TripAdvisor, and then you can use that as content. They could submit it to Instagram using the hashtag, and then you can rehash that, and you know, that again, that does the marketing for you.
And I've added that. You made me think of as well, like TripAdvisor reviews.
Yeah, definitely. That's big. That's big.
I don't know if Trustpilot is that used for coffee shop. Not really.
I'm not sure. That's more like products and services.
Yeah.
It's more service, I think.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, use everywhere kind of thing. You know, a lot of shops actually, they put it as a sticker like outside, isn't it? If they were.
Yeah, another one would be this is an offline strategy. Apply for awards, the local awards or this and that, because again, the award-winning coffee shop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You could even make your own award.
Make your own award as well as you invest.
I thought about that.
Awards work anyway. Is that you just pay for a table and you're nominated, basically. Even if you don't win the award, you're like, nominated for award in our first year.
Did I tell you, I thought about this as an idea for a book, yeah? Like, you know, you have New York Times bestseller. You could just make your own something bestseller list. And they say it was in that bestseller list.
Yeah. The Zero Masters bestseller,
Very good. What did you just say, Faisal?
Awards.
Apply for awards, Yeah. So I think the main takeaway here is really focusing on getting those repeat customers. They could be worth, I think I'm wrong with the 10K a month. That's worth, you know, much more than that, at least 25K a month just from the regulars. So how can you get them in the first time here? And then we also mentioned some strategies in terms of bringing them back again and again, whether it's through the SMS, whether it's through the monthly promotions and events and discounts, whether it's through WhatsApp or app notifications, as well as the loyalty schemes that we have in place. I feel like loyalty schemes could often be a lot more generous. If they understood the power and the importance of retention, then they would actually give more discounts. There's one app that I haven't used it for a while, but it's very much following this. So the way it works is it's like a platform for discounts, but it's called Repeat. And its focus is completely on getting people back into restaurants. So for example, Nando's is on this app. The first time you go, you get 5% off, okay? But then if you go again within 3 days, you get 25% off.
Wow.
And if you go again I think it's 7 days or 14 days, like within that period. So now you missed the 3 days, right? So you're not getting 25% anymore, but you'll go down to just like 15%, right? Which is still quite decent discount. And then after the 2 weeks, it's like, okay, you go back to just 5%. So they're really optimizing for getting you to come really like every 3 days, which is really a lot. But imagine that kind of thing in action. I think is very, very powerful.
That's very good. Yeah, I like that. So just another thing that the hospitality trade tends to do is they have promotions that are predictable. I mean, or not predictable, but expected. So, for example, McDonald's have that Monopoly promotion every single year, and everyone like comes, you know, even more for that. But even Costa, and they'll have the Black Forest hot chocolate and latte, or they have Christmas coffees or whatever. So. And Brew have just started doing that. Jaiwala have actually started doing that quite well as well. So they introduced the pink tea as a temporary thing initially, or apple pie chai or something. So again, these kind of weird and wacky flavors, you just bring people in. So that's another thing that brings people in.
That's something McDonald's do amazingly well. McDonald's at any time of the year, they will have some promotion on some limited edition product. And I think they strategically
limited edition scarcity is quite good.
But the reason they do it is because what happens is that you know the McDonald's menu so well that you feel like, oh yeah, it's just like, I know McDonald's, I know the taste, I've been there. But if it's something new and something interesting to go for, then it's very different. You know?
And when you go there for the, you know, like now I think they have mango fizz drink. You go there for that, of course you're gonna get the Big Bang, you're gonna get the things that you know anyway. So I think that's a really big way that McDonald's does really well, is there's always something new. And they, even if something really takes off in terms of sales, they won't make it a permanent thing because they know the power of having the scarcity there. Okay, guys, so we can wrap it up a little bit early actually, because
I think it might be good. I mean, for you to just recap everything we did.
That's what I'll do when we just finish. So
good.
So we went through that. So in summary, this is our ideas for marketing, getting the customers in the door to a cafe or coffee shop. We said the positioning was, you know, a mid to higher end kind of place where the main attraction is a nice environment, nice experience in store. The audience is a lot of professionals. And then for the hours where they might not be around, the mothers are coming in kind of thing. So we talked about a lot of the unique offerings that we could potentially go with. Of course, you wouldn't go with this straight away all at once, but you would pick the main ones. And you can see how a lot of these offerings are focused on the audience or the avatar, right? Which is very important. You can't think of these without thinking of the avatar first, okay? So we talked about loyalty cards. We talked about local business discounts where, okay, the local office with 100 employees, they all get discount permanently because they work in local area, get them in free coffee for a year, a competition, and then free hamper giveaway every single month, regular promotions that people get to know that you do that every single March or whatever. And then we talked about offline and online strategies to actually make people aware of these unique offerings that we have. So offline, we talked about going door to door to set up those relationships. We talked about flyering, and we talked about the stencils, stickers stuck around the local area, and tasters, which is just outside the store to bring people in. Then online, we talked about getting the listing right on Google and on those like, maybe is it Gumtree or whatever it is, TripAdvisor, these kind of places where you need, it's like directory of local businesses. Then we talked about Yell, yes, Yell as well. All local businesses hate Yell, man. Target local vicinity. So location-based targeting when it comes to Google, when it comes to Facebook, and that could lead to either your general website, but more likely lead to some big competition that you're doing, like free coffee for a year. That should generate you a few hundred or a few thousand emails and phone numbers. We talked about having an app for the loyalty and for the notifications that you can push out to those people, make it very easy for them to download it just with a QR code, in different places in the store. We talk about using local influencers, potentially using the space after hours, after it's closed, for events or for hosting a podcast. And we talked about Snapchat filters, loads of different ideas, alhamdulillah. And ultimately, the big takeaway here was having great customer service, having great that personality, that relationship building with the customers, and ultimately focusing on getting repeat customers, getting people to come back and getting that retention. And that's really how you're going to have success with this. So subhanAllah, I think it's amazing how none of us have ever owned a local business, I don't think. And we're able to come up with this because marketing is marketing, right? It's all about communicating value to the target customer and doing that in the ways. And notice how you might imagine that on this right column here, that this is what marketers can think of. But no, it's actually in the unique offerings. It's in understanding the audience, and then that informs the offerings and the kind of promotions and the products. So don't think that marketers don't come up with products. Marketing should be involved in thinking of the product in the first place. And yeah, I'll leave it there.
Yeah,
Remember,
I mean, one thing I just wanted to say, it was quite interesting. You went through all that. Really good summary, by the way. Is we hadn't even included the first thing that people do when they have a local like restaurant or take, like what people think is, oh, it just needs to be on Deliveroo or Just Eat and things like that. That's obviously their go-to online strategy, right? They'll bring us customers. We didn't even mention that in the whole thing, even though that is a strategy. Because it's,
yeah. And you don't want to be giving away 30% of every
yeah,
order.
this is all stuff that you can do without that, you know.
Yeah. Inshallah. Yeah, great. So the number one thing I'm taking really away from this is retention and getting those raving fans that come back again and again and again. So yeah, thanks guys for the ideas. Thanks for the episode. It's been really good. This has been Marketing While Muslim, episode 5. Remember, you can see everything we're writing on screen, as well as our cameras on the video version, which will be on YouTube as well as Facebook. And to find that, just search Muslim CEO or Mohammad Arshad, something like that. And then we also have, of course, the audio only version, you know, if you just want to listen while driving or while doing some housework or whatever. And that's on all of the podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, all of that. Yeah, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Until next time.
Thanks.